job if my boss knew she'd fire me. That's fine, the New York Times would beg to hire me. Till then I'd log alone. Blah, 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 blah.
We advocate for initiative and referendum around the country. We don't take positions on individual ballot measures unless they impact the process itself. But our goal is to see the process protected where it is in existence now in 24 states, and then to expand it to the other states, which we think desperately need it. You know, I think we're all pretty much geared up or geared down for an election that we don't expect to go our way, and I think that's true not only in the presidential race, not only in the Senate races and the House races, but largely on ballot measures as well. I don't think, when it comes to ballot measures, that that's because the mood of the public has somehow shifted. I think it's a lot more that the political left has been more aggressive in using ballot measures than they have in the past, and that our side has been less aggressive in using ballot measures. Well, I talked about a number of initiatives around the country that I think, win or lose, are things that we ought to look to for the future. But the real message that I was trying to get across was we at the grassroots, through voter initiatives at the local and state level, have a tremendous role to play in setting the agenda. And if we allow the agenda to be set in Washington, D.C. by incumbent politicians, we're going to find an agenda that doesn't resonate with the people and doesn't get Americans excited. And I think that's, you know, for conservatives, libertarians, limited government people, I think this election is not going to be one that we're very thrilled with. And I think part of the reason is because the agenda on the center right has been set in Washington, D.C. and not at the grassroots. You know, I think the biggest impact of the media is in hyping the presidential election. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to suggest that the presidential election isn't important. It is. But frankly, there's a lot more, I think, that can be done at the local and state level. I think that the federal government, whether we elect John McCain or Barack Obama, is going to continue to spend money it doesn't have. Both of them favored the $700 billion bailout, money coming out of thin air. I think that the American people are really fed up with the federal government, and they don't see any prospect for change. And so I think that really the media keeps focusing us at the national level with choices that aren't choices. At the local level and at the state level, we can make our own choices, and they will be profound policy decisions that voters will get to make, and that's a much better way, I think, to make change. So if I were to hit the media, I mean, we could complain about bias and all kinds of things, and I think those are accurate arguments to make. But my biggest complaint with the media is that they're focused only at the treetop level. They're focused only on the presidential election. And frankly, elections for Congress matter, elections for governors matter, elections for state legislatures. And frankly, if you never run for office and don't worry that much about that aspect of it, with ballot initiatives at the state and local level, you can make all kinds of change. So I think the media is focused on one tiny element of politics, and I think we as Americans have to be focused on the whole shebang. Well, you know, increasingly, you know, there's this debate: do you treat bloggers as you would treat the regular media? I think that question has already been decided. The bloggers are making news all over the country, and so I view this bloggers meeting as I would view a meeting of reporters from the New York Times and the Washington Post. The internet means that you can get information out there in all kinds of new ways,
And it's not only a good place to get your message out, it's also a lot of smart people who are into politics, and if you forget to mention something, they'll ask you a question right off the bat on it. So they're engaged, and it's a really fun place to not only present, but then to handle questions and discuss the issues.